Well, hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is your friend Ursie. And today I want to just talk a little bit about the color wheel. For those of you who've studied painting or had your basic art class, you know that the color wheel helps one see through a wheel the visual differentiations when red, yellow, and blue, those three primary colors, work their way through the full spectrum of color. So, my joy is trying to pair the color wheel with this idea of the astrology wheel. And so, having fun, just musing about do these two wheels, what happens when they intersect, when they lay on top of each other? Is there a symbolic resonance? So, when we work with astrology, we start the wheel with Aries at the ascendant. And so I hope you'll join me. I did not ascribe these colors to each of these signs, but I had this introspective moment as I was painting. I usually do a pile of drawings and then I try and work through variation in creating a series. But this idea of the harmonic frequency of the element of fire. So if you know your fire signs and the fire houses, did you know that they're not the same type of fire? So, in other words, a cardinal fire of Aries would be different than the mutable fire of Sagittarius or the fixed fire of Leo. Okay, so when we start talking about the nuance of color, it's not just red equals fire, but the subtleties and the beauty of going a little bit deeper in the various shades of fire, earth, air, fire, and water. So I'm going to just share with you, I'll speed it up, but as I was painting, I thought, oh, you might be interested in my thought process. But if you continue the journey of green representing earth and the three earth signs and their particular modality. So let's say the first earth sign of Taurus, that green, for very fixed earth green, with the green of Virgo, the abundance and the harvest. How is that green going to be different than Capricorn up in the 10th house of sharing your gifts out in the world? So my little journey started separating out the three areas of personal houses and signs with the interpersonal, which felt like they were getting warmer. So starting with the basic colors and then warming the colors when we went more interpersonal. And then the four remaining signs and houses being more interpersonal. These seem to get cooler as we go from the primary colors into the interpersonal houses and signs of me with another person. But when it's transpersonal, the colors felt like they cooled as they go out into the world, ending up, of course, in the 12th house of the ocean of Pisces, a very deep, dark blue, a cold blue, compared to the warmer blue of Scorpio, who's going into inner earth with all that molten lava. Okay, without further ado, I'm just going to speed up and show you my little painting process. Give me your feedback, though, because those of you who have enjoyed studying art and playing with paint, and if you've also enjoyed the beauty and journey of astrology, so bringing the stars and the signs and the mythos of the heavens into the play, nursery school play of color. When these two meet with an inner child's delight and joy, that's where the fun, sparking, and creativity can begin. Okay, we'll see you soon. So, welcome back to the astrology wheel and learning to paint the very specific nature of each of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So, if you recall, there are three fire houses. So, I'm going to use a Posca pen and I'm just going to mark the three fire houses. So, the first one, I'll just put here, this is Aries. And then the next one around the wheel is Leo. So Aries is cardinal fire, Leo is fixed fire. And we come all the way up here to Sagittarius, and that's mutable fire. Let me go ahead and put a dot there. Okay, so the three fires. Now, if you enjoy color and are a painter, my way of looking at the wheel is the first four signs and houses of the zodiac are the primary colors: red for fire, green for earth. This is Taurus. Air we represent with yellow. Okay, the sky. And then water would be blue. So when I think of the astrology wheel, since these are the personal houses, the personal signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, it would be a basic red or a primary green, primary yellow, and primary blue. Okay. But when we start talking about the interpersonal, the next four, we have to look at the quality of that red, yellow, green, blue. So it goes from primary to something that's more interpersonal. And then the last quadrant is transpersonal. That's Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. All right. So let's do this theory that there's three red signs of fire. If we say the cardinal fire of Aries, we'll just call it basic red. Then we have the mutable, the red that's going into the sky like the arrow. This is the one center stage. Leo is ruled by the sun. So I would put more of a fire red here with yellow, red yellow for the sun, for Leo and the fifth house. Whereas here with Sagittarius, you would choose a red that had more blue in it, more like the galactic sky blue. So a red that bends towards violet. And this again, this bends towards the yellow, the warmer zones. So Sagittarius, more cold. Leo, it's a warmer, hotter red. But again, I would ascribe the primary colors for the first four houses. All right. So let's do this again. If Taurus is here, the personal, sign of Taurus, the bull, if it's primary green, our next green signs and houses would be the Virgo. This is mutable. And then we go around the wheel till we get to Capricorn. This is cardinal earth. So my sense would be Taurus is basic green, but Virgo would be much more, let's see, does it bend warm or cold? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, very fast moving. Capricorn ruled by Saturn. So I would say that this is a colder green, or this is more yellow green. This green for Virgo tries to, work with the abundance, the harvest, be a little bit more like this green for Virgo. Whereas we get to Capricorn, we're on top of the mountain. And I feel like that earth is much more like this calypso green. So we go basic green, and then we go more of a abundant green that bends towards warmth. And this is green that goes colder. Okay. So it's interesting. The interpersonal seems like you're working with the other person. So these perhaps might have warmer tones And as we get more transpersonal for the collective good, it turns cooler. Let's try our air signs and houses. Okay, we'll put basic yellow for Gemini. This is early childhood, talking and learning through expressing myself. I'm learning the basics. The next air house is Libra. Okay. Oops, that's a lot of yellow. And then after Libra comes Aquarius. All right. So let's see. One yellow would bend towards warmth, the other would be cooler. So this cooler yellow, Aquarius, is ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is all about the future and dreams and this idea of I rebel because I can see a better way of doing things. So I'd put a warmer yellow for Libra. This is about the marriage house, the contract, the divine union. So I'd probably put more of a warmer yellow for Libra. We're getting married, we're signing the contract. And maybe a colder yellow. Let's see, a yellow that has a little bit of blue in it. Maybe more like this color. So it's instead of bending towards warmth, it goes cooler for Aquarius. All right. So doing our little spin around the wheel. Cancer is up next. Put a spot of blue. This is the crab at the side of the ocean, the sandy shores, all that the waves are pushing up against the shore. So this week we'll call a primary blue, finishing out the first four primary or working on myself. This is who I am. This is what I have. This is me learning and speaking. And this is my home. So after Cancer, the next water sign is Scorpio. It's up here. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and has depth. It's going deep into the transformational powers of change, sex, death, and rebirth. Then the next water sign is Pisces. This is the return to the ocean. So I would say this is a very cold blue. This is the ocean, the depths of the ocean. So a colder blue versus a warmer blue. We're still, even though we're in transformative powers, I think the blue for the ocean might be closer to slate blue for Pisces. And for the depth of going into the inner earth, Scorpio, I think probably move towards this kind of blue. It's again, they're cold, and then this is warm, a warmer blue. Let look at the basic red for Aries, that cardinal fire. This is a warm Leo, fifth house with the sun ruling it. So it's going to bend towards yellow. This is very fixed fire, cardinal fixed, mutable, the moving arrow through the sky. In fact, let's go ahead and put a little tip of color at his arrow. But it's a colder red, warm, cold, basic. All right, so those are the three fires. And whenever they go together, it forms what we call a trine. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. We'll come back and do the green of Taurus, the air of Gemini, and the blue water of Cancer. See you in a bit. Well, I think we're going to start with the opposite of fire is always going to be air. So working with oppositional energy, right? So cardinal fire, cardinal air. So when we work with the opposites, we're still working with the idea of fire is always opposite air. And they retain, like this is cardinal, this is cardinal. For our basic Gemini, which is opposite Sagittarius, remember the first houses are very basic. So we're just putting in a basic yellow, like a primary yellow. Here we go. And when you paint the wheel, it really does go in deeper into the psyche when you say, okay, primary houses, primary colors. And then it gets more complicated as the soul moves through the zodiacal wheel. It's like we're on the hero's journey, that here's the beginning, and then the end is Pisces. Okay, so this is a basic yellow. We said that this yellow will be warmer and this yellow will be colder. So this yellow will bend more towards orange. You know, it goes towards red. So yellow and red make this kind of nice, luscious orange. So a colder yellow will bring in more of the green. So we have air and fire, air and fire, air and fire. Cancer is a primary blue. Okay, trying to get it as primary as I can. Let it sit there. Okay, so it is a beautiful water. Cardinal fire, fixed earth, mutable air, cardinal water. Primary blue, a warm blue, cold blue. Primary red, warm red, cold red. I think I can get my primary yellow and my warm yellow and cold yellow. Right, so now we're working on the earth. So we're going to go for a basic primary green for Taurus. Hey, so there you have it. Painting the wheel, really learning about the personal, the interpersonal, and the transpersonal, the basic building blocks of color, basic red, green, yellow, blue, and then warming up the red with the fire of Leo, who's ruled by the sun, a warmth here with Virgo, the warmth of Libra, and even the warmth in the deep water of, you know, you're going into the inner earth. There's molten lava down there. But it gets to be cold water when it gets to the ocean of Pisces. So the transpersonal of Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, this gets things get colder. And just a reminder, we'll keep saying this over and over, we're doing opposites. So water will always be opposite earth. Okay, water, earth, water, earth. And air will always be opposite fire. This will be more important as we start talking about later, putting in more layers to the astrology. But knowing where your sun is, your moon and ascendant, these are all ways of building the language of astrology, of working with Aries, the ram, the bull of Taurus, the twins of Gemini, and the beautiful water of Cancer. These first four, again, are the primary houses. You're working on yourself with fire, initiatory, earth. It's yin holding space, fixed earth, Taurus. This is my stuff. So I am, I have, I think and speak, the air sign of Gemini, and then the water sign of Cancer. This is my foundation. This is my home. So from the primary colors, moving into the interpersonal, myself with another. So Leo, the red becomes warmer, right? It is ruled by the sun. The sign of Leo is ruled by the sun. To Virgo, the abundance and harvest of Virgo, the green shifts into a warmer green. I know it's hard to see from this slide, but the basic green turning into a warmer green, but then compared to the green of Capricorn, which gets colder, it almost looks black, but it's actually a very dark forest green, a cold green. And then again, moving through the wheel of a warmer yellow for the air of Libra, the committed partnership, a contract of marriage, or the divine union of the other, of self with the other. And Scorpio, the water turning warmer, going into the inner earth. Sagittarius begins the move now into the colder transpersonal houses and signs. So Sagittarius with a colder red, adding blue to the red, and Capricorn, colder green of earth, a transpersonal Capricorn green earth. And then the cold yellow of Aquarius. We're going out into, the sign that's ruled by Uranus, the cold satellite out there in space, creating networks and associations, bringing us a sense of the future into the present time. And Pisces, the culmination of the hero's journey throughout the zodiacal wheel, ending up in the very beautiful, expansive, but super cold ocean of all that is, the very cold blue. Okay, well, thank you for joining me on this journey with color and learning basic astrology. I hope it was fun for you. And if it was, go ahead and leave a comment. Till next time, everybody, we'll see you on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.